It sounds great. And just like this podcast episode, welcome back to The Slice, hosted by yours truly, JP Hovey, and the man to the left of me or the right of me, depending on if you're in America or Europe. It's just like driving. Sometimes the steering wheel's on the left side, sometimes it's on the right side. But we got Stephen Boughton on the left side today.
Hello, folks.
Steve and I have both had massive weeks, but before we get into our weeks, I got to shout out Betway. Nobody's doing it better than Betway. What's up?
That's right. No one's doing it better than Betway.
Nobody's doing it better than Betway. Betway, thank you for sponsoring the show. We love you. We appreciate you. And we cannot wait to get into some of this talk for these upcoming tournaments later on that we might throw a little cash on. But this week, we are going to go over the tournament results from this past week. Then we're going to get into, is this a new era of men's tennis where the Djokovic era is basically gone. Nadal, we've seen him falling out. Played well this week, but is this the new era? Has it officially arrived? Then Olympics. Everything surrounding Olympics. It's the one last thing Djokovic needs to win. If he wins it, does he retire? Does he stick around? Is he still gunning for that U.S. Open? And then the last one, I need help from Steven on this. The ranking and point system does not make sense to me. Quick teaser on it. I don't understand how in the world Sinner can remain higher ranked than Alcaraz after Alcaraz wins Wimbledon and Sinner doesn't make it as far. But he'll show me. And then also a little side piece story. We're going to hit on the ESPN's list of the top 100 best athletes of the 21st century came out. In the top 15, there was 4 tennis players, and overall there was 5 tennis players in the whole 100. Then crowd favorite, Smash or Pass, and then we'll preview the next week. Boom.
Love it. It's going to be fire. I can't wait to get into it. But first, JP, I understand that you were at a bachelor party this week. So how was it? How was your week?
I was at the bachelor party. If you hear my voice and it's a little hoarse, that is why. We went down to Folly Beach in Charleston, South Carolina, which if you have not been to Charleston, I highly recommend. The food is awesome. The beaches are awesome. The people are awesome. And it was just a good old-fashioned hang with the boys. I don't live in the same place as any of them. And a lot of people from where I'm from, they kind of stay in Greenville. So it was great to see all my high school and college friends. We just kicked it on the beach on Saturday, went out both nights at the little beach bars and ended the night one time watching some Real Bros of Simi Valley. And then the other time playing a little late night FIFA, which always gets a little dicey when you get some late night testosterone going on.
Oh, rowdy. Speaking of that, I saw some crazy video of there. Is this true that there was a little mini crocodile involved in the weekend, or is that contraband?
This is very true. The video Steven is referring to is on my Twitter right now. And my oldest brother, I have 2 brothers. My oldest brother, Alex, he's a PA, physician's assistant, smart dude, biology major. He's always been obsessed with animals. And at his house right now, he probably has over 50 snakes, many of them poisonous, venomous, rattlesnakes, black mambas, pythons, vipers, anything you name it.
He's got in cages or like glass things.
Yeah, like in those, like, when you go to the zoo, you see them in those little tanks.
Yeah.
So they're in that. And
his house.
Yeah, they're in his house.
Crazy.
So he's got all of those. He has 3 crocodiles. Alligators are illegal to own in South Carolina, for anybody wondering, or else he would have those. He's got 3 crocodiles. He's got an emu. He's got goats, pigs, chickens, peacocks, peafowls, pheasants, 3 dogs, some cats, 4 birds. And this is in a neighborhood, like a normal neighborhood.
So he's like Tiger King of Greenville.
He is. So he lives in Charleston.
Oh, so he's Tiger King of Charleston.
That's King, crazy. Which is pretty close to where Tiger King is actually located. But as my brother will tell you, nah, man, Jay, now it's illegal to own tigers in South Carolina, so I'm gonna have to move if I ever want one. I'm like, we saw how this story ends, Alex.
Yeah, good luck moving all those reptiles.
I know, but he did just buy some land in Orangeburg. Like he got 25 acres because he's also involved in some conservation programs where he is breeding some of these endangered species snakes.
Very cool.
Um, but yeah, he pulled out that crocodile, and there was a moment because he loves to joke around. He truly is a little Steve Irwin type, and he's like wrestling with it, and those things are strong, obviously. And he's like, "Oh, somebody help! Somebody grab it!" It starts walking towards me. I run, almost trip over the little netting by me. I'm like, "This is it. This is the end of me." Somebody let Steven know I'm not going to be on the pod this week.
Dang, that is, dangerous behavior there.
Dangerous behavior, dude. He also has an owl, but we took a little like field trip to his house to close out the bachelor party.
That's cool.
So yeah, overall great weekend. I saw you got into a little bit of golf.
I did, unfortunately, because it was terrible golf. I played amazing courses. I played terrible. My golf game is just in the pits right now. It's truly depressing based on how much I play. Like I should be way better, but didn't let it ruin my whole vacation. I was on vacation last week. I was in Penticton in the Okanagan part of Canada, of British Columbia, which is kind of where I'm from originally. So it's hot. It's like 30, it was like 35 degrees every day Celsius. So for you Americans, that's like, I want to say 105, 105 every day. So hot, dry heat, but hot. And I love that. I'm a desert dog, so I can handle it. But my wife's whole family, they got smoked out. They were like, it's too hot. We had our little dog who's like a German Shepherd. She was like cooking. I would bring her in the lake every few hours to cool her down. But we had a good time, relaxing week. So glad to be back on the pod talking tennis. Cause we really, to be fair, straight up, there was a lot going on last week. Let's be fair. There was a lot of politics. There was a lot of relaxing, but I'm excited to be here checking on the tennis because I did not watch too much live tennis last week. I will be straight up, JP.
Yeah, hey. And this is a safe space, right?
This is a safe space.
So everybody that's listening right now and everybody that's commenting, please just be kind. That's all we're here to do, is to be kind, be open, and let people be themselves, them truly authentic selves. Because I also was not watching a whole lot of tennis. I was consuming it via Twitter, but the boys were busy.
Yeah.
And there's only so much we can do. But there was a ton of tournaments that happened this past week, 6 to be exact. Now, I mean, also shout out the challengers, not to disrespect the challengers going on, but we do not have them. I don't have them marked down right now. No disrespect to them.
No disrespect. That's okay. We had, and we'll get into it a little bit later on Smash or Pass. But we have this weird after Wimbledon week where you have like clay events and like clay events after the grass swing, and then you have a few more grass tournaments. So it's just a bit of a wild week where people can kind of, it's like a menu. You can pick what you want to play on, or not play at all. So in Newport on the grass, we had Marcus Giron defeating Mickelson, 2 American boys in the final for his first ever ATP title. Marcus Giron clicks for Marcus Giron. Big. And
UCLA Bruin.
That is right. And in Hamburg, Germany, or Amberg, as they say, we had Artur Fies beating home favorite Sasha Zverev in a contentious final in Hamburg, where we saw a stone cold handshake, almost no look from Zverev fly by to Artur Fies, just telling the interviewer afterwards, like, look, the crowd wasn't into it. They were getting on me. I was winning, so I didn't care. Absolutely cold interview. And I guess it all, we'll get into it. I guess they all made up because Zverev was like showering Fies in champagne right afterwards. Yeah. So you know what? That's kind of like JP, like that's how guys operate. They had beef. 5 minutes later, we're good. Just like, squash the beef. Like let it be.
We legit had the same thing happen at the bachelor party. One of our dudes that never loses in FIFA lost in FIFA, and we're dogging him the whole time, and he gets super salty. He drops his controller a little bit harder than necessary, and then you just give him about 10 minutes. He comes back, and he's back on the vibes. We're all good.
Take a walk around the house, blow off the steam. Yeah, we don't hold grudges here. So that's good. Then we had the Swiss Open ATP 250 in Gstaad, where, if you remember, that's where I was living for a while. It's a great tournament. We had Matteo Berrettini defeating Quentin Halys, who's been playing great lately. That tournament had, for a 250 had a crazy draw. They had Stefano Tsitsipas, they had Felix Auger-Aliassime, among others. And that, yeah, so just those three guys. I mean, right there.
And
Just a great
Berrettini had to
tournament.
beat them all.
That's right. That's that's right. He beat Felix, and then he beat Tsitsipas, and then he beat
Yeah.
Quentin Halys in the final. So now he got the big rock trophy. Thing weighs about 200 pounds. And then in Nordea and in Sweden, Ninu Borges beats Nadal. Rafa Nadal, who makes the final there in a bit of a weird event. Like if you see the players who Borges went through to meet the final, like nobody was inside the top 100, which is weird. And then he goes and plays Nadal, one of the greatest of all time. So, and beats him. So that's a pretty gangster run for Borges there, the Portuguese. So that's great. So on the WTA side, we had the Palermo Ladies Open in Italy. We had Zheng defeating Mukova, and we had the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a name for a tennis tournament. Diana Schneider defeating Alexandra Sasnovich. So yeah, that's what happened last week. If you were like us and you weren't watching too much tennis, it's nice to see those highlights, and nice to get caught up, isn't it, JP?
It is. And speaking of highlights, since I know we don't have it listed out, this deserves a moment. Quentin Halys, you said is how you say his last name?
I believe so.
The shot from laying down on his back, basically, that he had.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did. That was insane.
No, that wasn't insane. That pissed me off.
Why did it piss you off?
Because when I'm out here playing and I'm trying to smack a forehand, standing up, fully planted, everything going right, I can't hit it that well. And this man's laying down, doing it, hitting a winner, basically.
True. When you've got all four limbs working properly, you can't play like you can play when he's basically just got in a car accident on the side of the court.
So he needs to relax.
JP's getting jealous, so relax, Quentin.
I'm getting jealous. Also, one other one was Mickelson. Obviously, he lost to Marcos, but when he beat Riley Opelka, who was just on an absolute serve bot tear in his first tournament back in 2 years, I think Mickelson beat him like 6-2, 6-0. Or Mickelson, however you say his name, but 6-2, 6-0 on a serve bot. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Gave him that bagel. Said, here you go.
Yeah.
That is pretty crazy. I didn't know that. I saw Opelka winning some matches, getting those dubs, and I was like, okay, good to see Opelka back. I should know this, but what injury keeps you out for 2 years? That's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy. But when you got that tall, how tall is he? Like 6'10"?
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer for some of those ligaments and everything to heal.
Yeah, it's like a chain reaction, injury, and then just like goes through the massive kinetic chain.
Yeah.
Knocked everything out of whack, probably. Makes sense.
Oh, wait, no, I don't have it on here either. And I promise it's the last thing I'm going to bring up from these tournaments we just talked about. But did you see God, dude, these names are going to kill me, gosh. And I truly apologize. Because I know
they'll kill you, the commenters will. So
yeah. I know Borges' agent. That's the problem. I should know this. I should know how to say his full name.
Damn, he's connected. This guy's connected.
Connected. But did you see he accidentally took the top off of the trophy? And they
I did
caught
not
him.
see that.
They caught him in a background zoom. He was checking out his trophy, and he hits a little twist on the top, and it comes up just a little bit, and then he kind of puts it back down, and he does, he lifts both of his eyebrows, and like did it. Hopefully nobody saw that.
Camera's like right here. We got you.
That is the sign of a first-time champion.
Tennis TV is looking for that extra content. They're looking for that content.
Yeah, that was a good move by the agent to tell him to do that. Go viral a little bit. But the question that we all need to know, Steven, is this the new era of men's tennis? Is the old era officially over?
Yeah, and that's a question. I don't know what I said. Yeah, like I was like, yeah. So on vacation, I'm sitting there on the beach thinking, after watching, we didn't really get a chance to debrief. I mean, when we watched Alcaraz beat Djokovic decisively in that final at Wimbledon last week, we thought, or we were kind of just reacting in real time, right? We were like a bit in shock. It went 3 sets. A lot of us expected a war.
Right.
And we went, I will say shout out to myself. Back at the beginning of that match, I was saying, hey, this could be a 3-setter for Alcaraz. Was I not?
You were, hey, and you were saying it from this jump.
From the jump, I was like, look, boys, I don't want to be a party pooper here, but this looks like it could be quick. And it wasn't necessarily quick. It was still tight 3-setter in a way. But I think you could accurately say Alcaraz destroyed Novak Djokovic in that final. If that was a first round match, you'd be like, that was easy. Which is like feels blasphemous to say when you're talking about, arguably the GOAT, 24 majors, But that brought me to the question while I was sitting there on the beach this week: are we in a new era of men's tennis where Novak Djokovic is no longer the man to beat? Like, we're not entering every tournament thinking, is Novak Djokovic going to do it again, or is one of these young guys going to upset him? To me now, like, my question and my thought is, we're going into these next tournaments, and it's more like, is Carlos Alcaraz going to do it again? Is he going to win his third in a row, or is Novak Djokovic going to upset him? Or is Jannik Sinner going to come in and say, hey, hold up here, I'm still number one? Like, dude, are we in a new era, JP? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. And I would say this. I think next year is the official start of the new era, because it wouldn't sit right with me thinking, man, Djokovic doesn't have a chance to win the U.S. Open. And I think the era officially switches after that chance is like, all right, this dude's probably not going to make it.
So if you're saying if he doesn't win the U.S. Open, then it's officially a new era.
Yeah. Or I'll say this: if he makes the final, like, I think he should still be considered like in it.
Well, I'm not saying he's like out of it. I'm just saying, like, the person, like the storyline at the top is no longer all about him. And I think in reality, it's been like, even until like this Wimbledon, it was like, I mean, after the French Open, it kind of this Channel Slam time, it was like, is he going to get to 25? Is he still like the top dog? And then, this year I felt like it's really just been like, okay, no longer. When Alcaraz beat him last year at Wimbledon, I was like, well, we're all like, whoa. He just beat a straight up Djokovic straight up. And then, Djokovic had a terrible start to this year, and then he loses to Sinner, but he wasn't really at his best at the Australian Open. So you're like, we'll see. And then it's just kind of kept going. So I think you're right. Like, to me, he still holds the US Open. So he's defending it going, in a month here. And if he defends it, then you're kind of like, okay, he's right there. But I feel like if he gets crushed by Alcaraz again, it's like, you're down
then
bad.
It's like, are we just solely in the Alcaraz era? Because, I mean, Sinner is, he's so good, but it just seems like that fitness, he's got that skinnier build too. And obviously he's young, he's going to fill out, but I just personally wonder, I'm like, man, is he just a little bit naturally more fragile than a guy that's built different? It's nothing against Sinner. Like, I'm sure he works his butt off and trains really hard and is in
Italians are coming for you.
Right. Yeah. The Italians, man. Take it easy. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I would think, I don't know if I said this on stream or not, but I think the next competitor, Sinner could do it. I just think his body's got to hold up better and late into those Grand Slams. But I feel like there's some 15-year-old kid out there that we don't know about yet that's going to be, he'll get involved into this whole, he could be the third one of a big three of Alcaraz, Sinner, insert 15-year-old kid that we don't know right now.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I remember, like, if you think about it, like 3 years ago, we were talking about that, like, who's next? And Alcaraz was sitting in the wings at like 14. He's like, I'm next, bro. I'm next. And then, yeah, just thinking about him, like, it's still just crazy. If he were to win the US Open, that would be 4 of the last 6 majors that he would have won.
Wait, when you were talking, and this is so corny. So again, listeners, safe place. This is a dad joke for sure. And I don't even, honestly, this is an American joke because I don't even think there's these stores over. But you know the store Staples?
Yes.
You know, I have the "that was easy" button.
Yes.
If he does continue to do this, I gotta see him partner with Staples, and I need one commercial where, their whole big thing is that was easy button, where he just comes out with like a few of his trophies and he just hits it, and you just get that classic Alcaraz smile in his Spanish accent. That was easy. Muy fácil.
What does muy fácil mean?
Very easy, right?
I don't know. I'm from Canada. I speak no Spanish.
Oh no. Hopefully maybe Fácil's weak. I don't think so though.
I think it is. I don't
Is
know.
it?
You know, we speak French here, but that's I don't know
Yeah.
what I don't know how to say that was easy in French either. So before we get crushed by the language police, yeah, new era. I think in my opinion, I'm calling it now. I think we're in a new era. Like it's to me just the way Alcaraz is playing, like the amount of confidence he has. It's just crazy. It takes like we've seen these other players. It takes them years and years and years to get to the level of confidence where he's at.
Mhm.
Like it's just he seems inevitable. People keep saying that, and like when Djokovic had that 2011 season, like that's when you were like, okay, yeah, obviously he had one of the craziest starts of all time. Then he like won all of his matches until the French Open, I believe. Like he literally lost his first match of the year in the French Open, Djokovic. I
Right.
don't know if you're following tennis at this point, JP, but it was like the best start to a season ever by a player. Won Australian Open, won every turn, like won the Sunshine Double, goes into the French Open, loses to Federer in the semifinals.
Mm.
Federer goes like this, iconic celebration. But then he keeps going on. He wins Wimbledon, wins the U.S. Open over Federer, or beating Federer during it, I believe. But
Yeah.
that's when he kind of went crazy. And he'd already been on the scene for a long time at that point, to be fair. Like he won the Australian Open in 2008, and he was on tour in like 2006, like
Right.
five-ish. So that's like 2011. Alcaraz like didn't exist 3 years ago on the tour, essentially. Like 2021, he was like some little freak. Like they're all like, oh, he could be good. Like he's got like I remember Felix Auger-Aliassime beating him at the U.S. Open in 2021. You were like, I predicted Felix to win because I was like, oh, like Alcaraz is like still a teenage. He's like still a tween essentially. So like he's
Right.
not there. But now he's just like he's won 4 majors, and it's not that long later. So none of the big three had starts like that to their career, really. So yeah. Anyways, I think we
And
are in a new era. Sounds like you're
yeah,
holding out a little bit.
I think it will be good too. Obviously, it's scary. Anything new is scary, but I think it will be good because Djokovic, Federer, Nadal. Djokovic had like he's had a few little things maybe off the court where he's out partying and stuff. But Alcaraz, I don't know if it was an interview or some article where he was talking about, they asked him about his little vacations he does, his trip to Ibiza, hanging out with the Spanish soccer national team. And he's like, these trips are really important for me because I don't
Mhm.
want tennis just to be like running my entire life. And to have that attitude already is so different than when Nadal and Federer and Djokovic are coming on the scene. And I think
Mm.
that's so fun and entertaining.
Yeah, I love it. I think, it's kind of well known in tennis circles that he goes there. He's like, Juan Carlos, his coach, and their team, they've got him humming like a bird during these majors and the lead ups to them. Super locked in. Like they're always smiling, joking around, but they got him on a regimen of like fitness,
Right.
sleep, eating, everything's right. And he goes and wins. And they think they do a good job. They go, we're not checking in with you for 3 days. Like, go have fun in Ibiza. I'm sure he's putting down drinks. I'm sure he's having a good time. And people think like Djokovic like has this one quote about him eating a piece of chocolate after winning
Yeah.
it. I forget which year. And he's like, this is the first chocolate I've had in 10 years, which I don't believe. Anyways, and he's like, that's what it takes to get there. And Alcaraz is like, that's not what it's taken Alcaraz. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's at a different level. He's only won 4, but you know, I think it's good. He goes hard and he blows off steam and he comes back and he seems
Right.
to have he has his energy at the end of these tournaments, whereas another guy like Sinner is kind of physically not fully there at the end of these tournaments, like you're saying, JP.
Right. Also, I can't believe I forgot to bring this up. How hype is it? And I don't know if you saw this in your feeds because I think it was announced last week, but Netflix, we thought obviously Breakpoint went away, but then they
Mhm.
announced they've been documenting Alcaraz's whole season, and he's going to have a documentary coming out next year about this year.
You know who that's going to be sponsored by?
Who?
The rest of the ATP tour, because they're gonna, the Netflix curse when the Breakpoint came out, and all the
Yeah.
players featured in it started playing terribly and having like terrible seasons after that. Some of them have never recovered.
Yeah.
now you got Alcaraz going on Netflix, and is that going to disrupt his flow state?
But dude, it can't, because I feel like I need to go, because I think in Breakpoint, I mean, which were the main guys that actually played well while they were being filmed?
Like none of them. Like no one
Right.
played well. Well, I think
And
Tiafoe had a good run at one of the tournaments, but he still it was like a quarters or semis.
right. And so
So
Alcaraz, clearly this camera crew is with him right now, and he's
yeah,
already
so
scooped two of them.
they saw the best stuff. Like that's going to be so sick to see him
Right.
like go all the way through.
And I really feel like, I mean, I hope this is able to get Breakpoint back to tennis. And I really feel like the issue was the first time that players weren't giving these people enough access because they want to control and curate their image and everything. And I mean, rightfully so to some of them, but it's so beneficial if you are just if you're just authentic, because everyone is going to gravitate towards you. And it's so rare in tennis that it's like, just let them do it. Let them do their thing for a year. I promise people are going to love you more than you think. And
Oh, for
Alcaraz,
sure.
he's so self-confident. Like, he's so comfortable with who he is.
Yeah, he's not changing for the camera. Like he's just doing his thing,
Right.
I bet. And yeah, I think that would be great. And the problem I think with Netflix with Breakpoint is they're trying to tell like 8 player stories at the same time.
Right.
So like you got like an inch deep and a mile wide on every player. You didn't really get to know them very well. It was like the Netflix series felt like a 30-minute commercial for each player.
Yeah.
In a way, you know what I mean?
That's a good way to
So I
put
feel
it.
like seeing like, I don't know. Do you know when it started? Like when the film crew started with them?
With Alcaraz,
Yeah.
all it said was they've been documenting this whole season. So I would assume, at those first tournaments in Australia and New Zealand.
So I think that's awesome for new tennis fans who I think Alcaraz is going to grow the game. But if there's like, all the people who fell in love with like F1 and tennis because of these shows,
Right.
I think they'll see a different thing. They'll be like, they'll be following Alcaraz, super likable guy to start with. And then at the beginning of the season, he doesn't have that success. He's dealing with some like injuries from the previous season. Then he goes into Australia and his coach, Juan Carlos, doesn't come down to Australia. And Alcaraz loses, and you see him lose. You see him struggle for the first while, and then he goes and wins Indian Wells, beats in Sinner, but it's not a major. And then he goes in, and then he probably it's like a big build up, and he had injury concerns. He's got the arm tape going into the French Open. How is he going to play? Comes in, wins it. Comes into Wimbledon, loses at Queens, comes into Wimbledon, wins it. So
hero's journey.
Yeah, seriously, hero's journey. That's going to be, I agree, that's going to be epic. And I think we've never really had anything like that in tennis. No. I don't think any of the big three ever had a documentary like that made of them while they were playing.
Huge. And something that is going to be in that documentary, hopefully, will be the Olympics.
Come on.
With Nadal and Alcaraz. So, which brings us to our next topic, Olympic tennis.
The Olympics are going to be crazy. There's a lot on the line here for mainly one guy, Novak Djokovic, your guy. And I guess the question of this segment is there's been rumblings. Craig Shapiro of the Craig Shapiro Tennis Podcast, free shout out, has been talking about, he was a friend of the show on the stream. That was great when he popped in. He's been talking about how, Djokovic has had this terrible year by his standard. And his thought is that if he goes in to win the Olympics, there's a chance that he'll just hang it up. 24 majors, most ever by man. Finally gets the Olympic gold for his country, for Serbia that he's wanted. I don't think he's getting the joy out of playing on the tour that he has in the past at all. I think he'd rather be with his kids and just hanging out, which why wouldn't you?
Right.
I think he could just hang it up if he won that gold medal. What do you think about that, JP?
I think there's no way he doesn't play in the US Open. Had he won Wimbledon and had he won an Olympic gold medal, then I think maybe I could see it a little bit.
Yeah.
But we know the 25 merch has been made. The shoes are ready. The jackets are ready. And I feel like Djokovic does love the US Open because the crowd is pretty animated. And that obviously he gets juiced up from the crowd and he loves interacting with them. So I do believe he loves the US Open. And I don't think Olympic gold medal would take him away from one more ride in New York.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, when you can beat everyone else on the tour, except, for essentially Alcaraz. Like, why don't
Right.
you keep playing? But and I do, he does get that extra juice from the U.S. crowd, which they've had a super love-hate relationship. So yeah, I don't believe that he would retire after when he could still play a great tennis, make the finals of majors on an injured knee. So, but that is just like a thought it's definitely a rumor that's been put out there.
Yeah.
But I think the Olympic tennis in general is, it's, you kind of forget, right? It's only every 4 years. Sometimes people don't put as much weight on it from the tennis tour's perspective as because you don't get any points. There's no points associated, which will bring us into our next point, or our next story about the rankings. But so it's all for pride, it's all for country, and yeah, it's a 64 player draw. There is 16 seeds, which I got right here. And this is interesting. I guess this is part of it. The Olympic tennis seeds are interesting because, as you talked about, JP, they're a little confusing, especially the year-round rankings. So the men's single seeds: number 1, Sinner; number 2, Djokovic; number 3, Alcaraz. So to me, that is like crazy. It's the same seedings as Wimbledon. So
Right.
that's I don't know exactly their formula for coming up with it, but you're going to get a guy who's won the last 2 majors as the 3rd seed who could play, it could be Djokovic and Alcaraz in the same half of the draw is why it matters.
Yeah.
It could also be Sinner Alcaraz like it was at Wimbledon. But to me, that's pretty crazy that Alcaraz isn't the number 1 seed based on what we've seen in the last month here. But that's just how it goes.
It's stupid is what it is. We can call it what it is.
It's a safe space.
And this might be putting you on the spot because I'm trying to scroll through right now and see like who all's playing, because it is hard to keep up with. Who would be your prediction to take the gold medal? Or you can even give podium if you feel better about that.
Well, it's such a bigger toss-up than a major because it's 3 sets as well. I don't know if you knew that. But so, in 4 years ago in 2020, we saw, or I guess it was actually 3 years ago in 2021 when they were playing the 2020 Olympics, Zverev won the gold medal, beat Djokovic along the way. And you get these 3-set matches where guys can just upset players. It's like players are way more prone to upsets. So in that way, it's kind of almost hard, in a way, it's a little bit harder for the top guys to win than a major because you feel like over 5-set Alcaraz and Djokovic are going to beat almost everyone over 5 sets because that's what they've basically proven that they can do. But on the clay, Alcaraz won the French Open. He beat Sinner. Djokovic knee, went out of whack there. So it's a hard one for me to call, but I don't see how you don't put Alcaraz as the favorite.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'd be dumb to not put him at the top. I think if I had to give overall team rankings, my podium of teams, this is not just obviously Alcaraz is the best player, right?
Yeah,
I would say. I mean, of course, I'm gonna have the U.S. in my list. I'm thinking men's and women's. I like us. We're solid all around. We don't have like the guy, just like we don't have the guy on the actual ATP tour, but it's they're all quality players. So let me put the U.S. I gotta put the U.S. at 1, or else I'd be ashamed. So
really?
I'm gonna put the U.S. at 1. You know this. I'm a ride or die. I'm an emotional person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my heart on the line for my fellow Americans. I'm gonna go them. Then I'm gonna go Italy at number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah.
I think Spain.
Number 3, Spain.
Even though I want to say Australia because they're more fun with the Demon and Alexei Popper, and I like both of them.
That is. Wait, you mean for Australia?
Yeah, like I kind of want to put Australia in there, but
yeah,
I might just leave them. I might leave them out.
Yeah, fair enough. And for some reason, I'm seeing like on TeamUSA.com, Paris 2024 USA Tennis Olympic team roster. it's not showing Tommy Paul.
Oh, what? Did he pull?
But
Did he drop out?
No, I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he's still in there. So I'm so confused. Anyways, countries, I mean, I agree because the U.S. has great women's players as
Right.
well as the men. And yeah, they don't have the best player in the world, but it's not necessarily about that. But and then yeah, I can see, you know, I mean, it's tough because you got Demonauer, yeah, Australia. You've kind of in the top, 15 players, you've kind of got one from each country. There's not really too many
Right.
double dippers there. I mean, Italy, I like Italy on the clay. You got Sinner and Musetti in the top 16 seeds there. Yeah, but other than that, I think as countries, it's tough. I'm going to throw Canada's hat in the ring there. Felix Auger-Aliassime, Denis Shapovalov, Bianca Andreescu, Milos Raonic. They've got players who can make a dent, but clay, not really our surface. Not gonna lie,
Mhm.
So that's my patriotic moment. Also very patriotic. Also, emotional decision maker when it comes to that. The countries for sure.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think the overall the Olympics is going to be pretty wild, and that's going to be right before the National Bank Open in Montreal and Toronto. So yeah, it's going to be a busy summer of tennis. That's for sure, JP.
Busy summer of tennis, and I'm sure, hopefully, the rankings will shuffle up, which brings us to the third one because
Yeah.
I gotta get a Stephen Boughton breakdown of these
Well,
points.
to me, it's funny that this trips you out because to me, it's pretty simple. And for those of you who aren't aware, because this was a show for the experienced and the new, the 12-month tennis ranking system is a points-based system. So every tournament you play in, there's a different amount of points associated with it. And no matter how well you do in the tournament, you get a different amount of points. So if you win a major, for example, which is they call them Grand Slams sometimes, but the technical, if like you really know what's up, like you call them majors. Because if you say I won a Grand Slam, that technically means you won all 4 majors in a single year, and no one's done that since Rod Laver, who did it twice. Total gangster. But so you win 2,000 points for winning a major. You win 1,500 points for winning the ATP Finals year-end championships. You win 1,000 points for winning an ATP Masters 1,000, 500 for an ATP or WTA 500, and so on. So it's a 52-week ranking system. So within the last 52 weeks, so this is it's Monday right now. So from the end of last week and all the points 52 weeks before that accumulated, whoever's ranked number 1 right now, which is still Jannik Sinner, they have the most points out of anyone.
Got you.
So that is why it seems like, because you look at, okay, who holds the majors right now? Alcaraz holds 2. He holds Wimbledon and the French Open. Sinner holds the Australian Open, and Djokovic holds the U.S. Open. But as far as points go right now, Sinner has 9,570. Djokovic is behind him in second place with 8,400. So he has over 1,000 points less than Sinner, and Alcaraz is at 8,130. So the way the system is set up is so that the tournaments in between the majors matter. Like you can win all 4 majors, and the most amount of points you could have is 8,000 from that, which, as you can see, Alcaraz has 8,130. So he's won 2 of them. So he's got half of his points come from the last 2 tournaments he played in, essentially. So he hasn't done as well as Sinner has in the tournaments in between or at the Masters 1000. So, for example, Sinner won the tournament in Canada, the Masters 1000 in Canada last year, which was big for him. He also won a bunch of tournaments in the swing in Asia. He played well at the ATP Finals, and then he won the Australian Open, and and I believe he won Miami as well. So he's won a lot of these ATP Masters 1000s, and he's accumulated those points. So although people are saying, like JP and myself, that he's probably not the best player in the world right now, how can you say that after Alcaraz has won the last 2 majors? But he is the number 1 player in the world by the stats. Does that make sense, JP?
Hey, great breakdown. You pretty much flipped my view on it for the most part. It makes sense. And I also did see I think it was like Zverev and Sinner are the only people this season so far to have won. I could be botching this number, but like 40, maybe like 40 matches or something. Like whatever it was, they're the only two people that have won X amount of matches. Which I
Right.
was
So on the
like, okay,
ATP tour, right. So on the I don't know where the match count is. But if you go, well, another thing on the regular rankings list there, it shows tournaments played. So Sinner's played 18 tournaments in the last 52 weeks. So has Djokovic. Alcaraz has played 17. So he's played one less. Whereas Zverev has played 25 tournaments compared to 18 for these other guys.
and
So
so
he's
got you.
yeah, so he's played a lot of matches, like you said. Like he's played a ton of matches.
So this is also why people, the rude haters out there, that's why they get upset with him when he's playing all these ATP 250s. They feel like he's stat padding, basically.
Essentially, yeah. But that's no,
I'm
that's
not a
like,
hater. I mean, trust me,
talk
I'm
about
with you.
haterade. It's like you play too much tennis and you win too much tennis. It's like
Right.
he's like, yeah, cry about it. He's like, I
Oh,
go
yeah.
there and I collect these little titles. And he's been working up. He won Barcelona ATP 500 this year, beating Tsitsipas in the final. He's only played 24 tournaments. He's not as try hard as Zverev in the last year. But yeah, Lorenzo Musetti, check this out. Lorenzo Musetti's played 30 tournaments.
Yo.
Guy's grinding. He has a kid and he's still playing that much. Crazy. But great Wimbledon. How can you argue with it?
Hey, yeah, it's paying off. That was good. Hey, that was some good info right there. Well said, well articulated. I feel like I learned a few things.
Appreciate it. You know, that's straight from the dinner table at Christmas when people are like, "Hey, I know you've got like that YouTube channel about tennis, right?" And they're like, "How does it work?" Like, and then you just explained it. So I've got it deep in here. It's like the scoring system. Although the scoring system, I have no rationale for. It's like they're like, "Why is it 15, 30, 40?" I'm like, "Your guess is as good as mine, bro." Do you know, JP?
No, I'm so glad you said that too, because I'm probably around way less tennis fans than you, I would assume. Maybe not. But I'm around really just a lot of NFL people or like comedians, it seems like. And or college football, everybody that's just playing college football right now. And so they're like, all right, so explain the scoring to me. And I'll say, run through the same thing. They're like, well, why is it 40-15? What do you mean win by, like, because I'll try to tell them, like, it's kind of win by 2 it's kind of like win by 2 in the first person to X. And I'm just like, they're like, but that doesn't make sense because how's it win by 2 if it's 40-30? I'm like, I don't know how to put this out to you.
It is one of like, I mean, we should have Googled this, but we kind of just got there inadvertently, but I have no clue. And I forget there's no logic to it, right? Like if you try to assign like a logic, what goes 15, 30, okay, that's twice as much. So that's 15 to 30, but then it goes 40. That's not twice as much as 30. So, it's crazy, but it does make for the best scenarios in the sport, like with the way that you have to get to deuce, and then you gotta in a tie break, you have to win multiple points, obviously, and win by 2 there, and then you have to you don't just kind of flukily get somewhere. You have to win multiple points in a row.
Okay,
and it sets up scenarios.
So this is crazy because I just Googled it up.
Okay, what does it say?
This is our problem. This is where the problem lies because they don't even know where this thing came from. I'm gonna read you 4 different theories that they have. These are theories. Tennis scores were shown in the Middle Ages on 2 clock faces, which went from 0 to 60. On each score, the pointer moved around a quarter from 0 to 15 to 30 to 45 and a win on 60. Somehow the 45 got truncated to 40 when the clock faces dropped out of use. So that's one. Then
that's funny.
There is the João de Palme, whatever this is. Another theory is that the scoring system comes from the earliest version of tennis known as Jeu de Paume. Gosh, French people probably kill me for this. In this version, the courts were 45 feet on each side of the net, and players would move forward 15 feet after scoring. After moving forward 15 feet twice, players could only move forward 10 feet to avoid being too close to the net. That's insane.
That is insane. So it's like they can hit and then move, or no, it's like goes by points. So if it's like that,
Right.
so I'm already confused. I'm already lost.
And then the last
Anyways,
one,
I think it's pretty good where it is right now. But what's the last one?
the last one is quick. It just says the 15, 30, and 40 scores are based on medieval French. The earliest reference to the scores is in a 1435 ballad by Charles d'Orleans that mentions, golly, Corrente Cinque, kink, whatever, 45, which just means 45.
Yeah.
So there you have it. For
I-
anybody wondering, there you go. That's why
like
that's how
invented
tennis scored
in
the way it
England.
is.
Anyways, that is crazy. And talking about ranking, you put this in there. I believe ESPN just released their top 100 athletes of the century for the quarter century, and really people focus on the top 25 and argue about it. And yeah, they got a bunch of tennis players in there. JP, how many tennis players do they have in the top 25? And then we'll get your thoughts on the way the rankings are in there, because to be honest, I see a lot of cap in that top 25.
I see a lot of cap also. I'd love to compare caps, which people should start using that phrasing more. Let's compare caps. But the 4 tennis players in the top 25, we got Serena at number 2, Roger Federer at number 6, Djokovic at number 11. I know you're smiling with that one. Nadal at 12.
Coming for ESPN. They're going to be storming the ESPN headquarters in New Jersey or wherever they are. They're just going to be outside with tiki torches. It's going to be crazy.
Oh, Nadal at 12, Andy Murray at 80, Venus Williams at 86.
86.
Now, where's your cap at?
Well, to be honest, I don't know how I don't know what the criteria is. It's like that. Who's that player who's like, I met the criteria to be selected, but
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. He's like, the criteria was met. So I don't know what criteria they're trying to meet, because it's like, is it total amount of titles or records or medals that you're getting?
Right.
Because Serena at number 2 makes sense then, but then Federer being higher than Djokovic doesn't make sense, because even though I'm a Federer guy, I know how to count, and Djokovic has 24 and Federer has 20. So I don't know how you got Serena at 2, and then Djokovic not right up there. So I mean, they give a few paragraphs above this on maybe how they chose this. I believe it did come down to a vote. The vote, it says the voters were instructed to consider only an athlete's performance since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't. That still seems like not helping me. Like, I would like this might make more sense, and I will say, to be fair, JP, I don't want to dunk on you guys too bad, but it's obviously it's ESPN. It's a very Americanized list. Like, there's a lot of Americans on there.
Who do we disagree about, though?
Well, you got, for example, you got Tom Brady at number 5, who plays a sport that literally one country in the world plays.
Bro, y'all have the CFL.
Debate that. That's
you have
true.
the CFL.
But it's a joke. It's like, we got 3 downs. Like, we have a bigger field. We don't even know what we're doing. It's crazy. No, I don't have any problem with that. To be fair, I'd probably put Tom Brady above Serena Williams. No, but there's the top few I don't really have a problem with. It always gets tough to me, though, when you combine Olympic sports with sports like the NFL and NBA and tennis, for example. Like, I don't know. Tiger Woods is at number 8. Like, he's the greatest golfer of all time. Does that mean anything? Yeah, he doesn't have the most records of any golfer, but he changed the game like no one else has. Like, arguably no other athlete has changed any sport. Tiger Woods changed it, and he's number 8.
I think what really bothered me, and Well, first, I do think this list is a win for tennis. They got a
Correct.
lot of guys in the top 25, so it gets put some respect on these tennis players.
And they're
I'm
all at the
glad.
top. Like our 4 are all in the top 12, actually.
Right. So I mean
It's
that's
like a third of the
huge,
top 12 are tennis players.
and especially like we're saying, I mean you're 100% right. ESPN, this is very American list. So to get those 4, it speaks a lot to tennis. Shout out to tennis. All you sports fans, start paying attention more. We got 4 athletes in the top
Come on.
15 of the greatest of the 21st century playing tennis.
Not
Turn
a
on the
coincidence.
TV.
Go outside America. Think.
Go outside
Think
America
big.
and think. But the number one thing related to tennis that I had an issue with on this list, and I hate to disrespect our guy because he is the man, but the Andy Murray was, whatever I had it at, like 80 something, 86. They had my boy as higher than Ronaldinho, which I don't know if you're a soccer fan at all, but Ronaldinho was Messi before Messi. And
Where's
Carey,
Ronaldinho?
he's like at 98. Crazy.
Dude, where's Alcaraz at this point? He has more majors than Andy Murray. Like,
I'm
stop
telling
playing
you.
with me.
I'm
Stop
telling
playing with
you.
me.
Andy Murray, you snuck on that list, bro.
Andy, don't worry. We still love you. But
Yeah, no, Andy, you're hilarious. If it was top 100 of coolest people, you'd be top 10.
this is a little bit blasphemous as tennis pundits here, but for real, like this list does seem to just throw some wild things. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Kobe Bryant being lower than LeBron James. Stop playing with me.
Oh my
Play with me.
God.
LeBron James.
That's crazy.
LeBron James, like Kobe Bryant to me is a more iconic basketball player than LeBron James and better, straight up. So that's just
not
my
better.
opinion.
Maybe more iconic, maybe, but not better.
Put them one-on-one in a gym for for 2 years straight, just playing games against each other, and I would guess that Kobe would have won 80% of those games one-on-one.
I will tell you, and don't worry, tennis fans, we're not going to stick on this too long, but I will tell you why that would not happen.
Who's a bigger competitor?
I don't care how good of a competitor you are. LeBron James is 6'8", 6'9", 260 in his prime. You lock those two in the gym, LeBron is going to manhandle him.
No, LeBron's not going to be there after a couple of years because he's soft as Charmin, and he's 6'8". Yeah, he's a huge freak of nature, but he's always on the ground flopping around. He's not actually using his body, and
that's a later in life thing. Like I used to stand up for LeBron a lot more than I do now, but when he was coming up, he wasn't flopping like he is now.
You're saying he's a senior. You're saying that's your argument. You're saying he's a senior,
right? I mean, we want to talk about durability. My man just put on a Hall of Fame performance at 38 in the game today against Germany. Fourth quarter, dominate.
Oh, what about the one where they beat South Sudan by 1 point? How about that game?
And who had the game winner?
I don't know. I didn't watch. I'm not watching the South Sudan game. Get out of here. No, whatever. That's a debate. That's a great debate. But it is just weird to me when you mix Olympics. Like, you got Simone Biles up there a bit ahead of all these other, you got swimmers. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Right. Like you got Simone Biles above Tiger Woods.
Come on, man. Don't disrespect Simone Biles now.
I don't care.
Hey, fun fact.
Okay. We got to get off that because this is a tennis podcast, believe it or not. So I believe we have some smashing or passing to do. Is that right, JP?
We do. Smash or pass. I'll kick it off for you. We're gonna go. Hey, is it Arthur?
French,
bro. Arthur Fils. Arthur Fils. His "I'm winning" comments after the match when the crowd was just giving him all the crap in the world. How do we feel?
Smash, massive smash. I love it when players talk their talk, and he feels disrespected by the crowd, and maybe he took the lead from Djokovic, gives it right back to him. Absolute smash. What about you, JP?
Smash all the way. Arthur Fils, welcome to the top 10 of my power rankings player list. We're happy to have you over here. Happy to have you on this squad and can't wait to watch you climb further up. This is what I need. I need more Artur Fils in my life.
Yeah. And he knows how to say it. His French is getting better, JP. And Artur Fils just made the top 20 of the ATP. So shout out for the first time. Winning in
Oh.
Hamburg. Okay. Zverev cold handshake in that match and then turning around and spraying him with champagne. What did you think about that, JP? Smash or pass?
Smash, like we talked about earlier, it was the ultimate just boys move. You're pissed, you're salty, everyone's upset, and you look like you come out as the bad guy, but you let 10 minutes, all it takes is 10 minutes for guys. That's what makes us so fun to be around. So, and it made the moment spraying the champagne even better. So massive smash. I know everybody was praying on Zverev's downfall, but y'all know I'm riding with him. So I'm smashing it. What you got?
Yeah, smash. Love the turnaround. I don't care about salty handshakes. I love them, and I love it when boys being dudes are just making up after some champagne or some drama like that. So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. U.S. hardcourt swing. JP, smash or pass?
Oh man, I want to say all right. I'm gonna say pass, and it's all for selfish reasons.
Okay.
Because this year, I really wanted to go. I have a problem because freaking tennis matches are always during the week. I want to go to the tennis match. You can't go to the tennis match if you're a fan if you don't live in that city without taking vacation days. So
right.
I need the main draws to start on the weekend so I can go. Atlanta's happening right now. It's 3.5 hours away from me. I would have killed to drive down and go support some of the homies, go watch some good tennis. So I'm going to pass just based off selfish scheduling reasons. How do you feel about it?
Fair enough. I'm going to smash, for our time zone watching here, you can watch all the tennis start to finish. At work, you can have a side monitor on and you don't have to wake up super early or stay up super late like the other majors. So I love the time zones. Ultimate smash for me.
Sweet. Mini clay swing after grass.
I would say also smash. I love it. Keep it freaky, It's a bit weird. Like you're like, why are we playing clay here? But people hate on it, but I don't have a problem with it. Smash. How about you?
Well, I'm one of those people. I'm gonna hate on it because if the issue is the injuries going from hard courts and grass to clay back to hard courts, then we just need to wipe it out. One thing is, I guess if the Olympics are going to be on clay court, then it makes sense to have a mini one. But if not, let's go ahead and take away all possible injuries.
Fair enough. So JP's he's passing. He's letting that one pass. Okay, Raducanu versus Alcaraz dating rumors. Smash or pass?
Smash. Love the way Alcaraz is playing this one. He's giving just enough for people to start talking about, and that is played like a true. Hey, Alcaraz, he's got it going on in all areas of life. What do you think?
Smash. I would love it if they got together. That is so crazy. Can you imagine? Like Alcaraz, baddest tennis player in the world, Emma Raducanu, one of the baddest female tennis players out there from all departments, went on and won the U.S. Open literally out of nowhere, the most out of nowhere winner of all time. She's British. She's it would be like a Queen Diana, King of Spain, crossover craziness. So yeah, I would love that if that was true. I don't know if it is, but Alcaraz kept us guessing, like you said, played it like a true champ, and he's winning on all levels right now. Huge smash.
Staying on Alcaraz, his tattoos. I saw the video of him getting the tattoo of the Eiffel Tower. What do we think about tattoos after each Grand Slam title?
Smash. I'm like, I'm just the smash guy. I support everything, but like, I didn't know that. I hadn't seen him get tattoos of his other wins. Is that true that he gets one after every major?
If it is not true, blame the tweet I saw that said, "This is how you know this guy is on too much of a roll because he's getting his next tattoo right after he won like a different tournament type deal."
Yeah, well, tell you what, he's gonna be searching for space on his body as the way his career goes if he gets a tattoo after every major he wins. So, yeah, I love it. What about you?
Smash as well. And I literally, as we're sitting here talking about it, I guess it would make sense if he wins each of the Grand Slams, then he probably would just stop at 4 tattoos. I guess he wouldn't get one every single time. Like since he's won
That's great.
Wimbledon now twice, it's like I guess he wouldn't get 2 things. What if he just got like 8 Eiffel Towers on himself?
Yeah, it's like their bag. It's like the bags or the shoes when they put a little sticker for every time they won. Yeah, that wouldn't really make that much sense, I guess. So yeah, that's fair. Okay, we got a few more here. Nadal retiring from singles but sticking around for doubles. JP, smash or pass? That concept.
I need it, dude. Smash. And him and Rude would be awesome. I love the vibe they were given this past week playing in doubles. Sucks they had to withdraw, but smash. I think that would be so cool to see an icon transition to doubles and stick around. It could raise the popularity of doubles again too. What you got?
Really, I'm like passing big time with that. I do not want to see him hold on. I want to see him that, especially Nadal, more than Federer even. He deserves some rest and relaxation after the career he's had. This man has been injured like no one else, and to see him out there hobbling around the doubles court to get some extra giggles out of people that's too much. He's done more than enough for tennis. He deserves to sit on his boat on Mallorca for 10 years and then maybe come back and commentate in Spanish. But yeah, I don't need to see him on the doubles court. That's good for me. But that's fair enough.
I respect that. And next, the Olympic Village beds. Every single year they go viral. What do you think about them?
Yeah, I guess, to be fair, there's a lot of smashing happening on those, I've heard. But I'm passing on those. I don't know why they can't get regular beds for these. Like, they spend $1 zillion on this event. Why can't they just get regular beds? I don't get it.
I agree. Pass. And I also just will never buy that somebody like Rafael Nadal is staying in that room.
No.
Like, he has to have some poll somewhere like, hey, guys, I'm doing you a favor by coming to play.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have a live stream video into his room proving that he's there, and I would still not believe it. I'd be like, this is the deep fake.
Right.
He's not at the Olympic Village. He's just not there.
AI has gotten out of hand.
It's funny. Okay, last one, JP. Smash or pass? The Olympic photos that are basically mug shots. Smash or pass?
Smash all the way, because the photos have been too funny, and it's photos that I feel like we would never actually get from tennis players. So give me all of these mug shots. Now, they did do Iga Swiatek wrong with hers. They 0.5 her or something, because that I gotta get it. I gotta find out who took that photo, because I need to talk to them. I have a stern talking to.
I've heard that they've been arrested by the Polish police after that photo. Like that, they're not alive anymore potentially.
Hey, well done, whoever took care of that.
She did look like an alien, but that's some of those photos can be tough. I get it. You fly in on the red eye, you never know. You're not looking your best. Yeah, I'm passing on those, although I do think they're funny. Yeah, not the best photos for the players at all. Okay, that's smash or pass, JP. Another good one. I love that. Love that segment. Schedule preview of next week. There's some more smaller tournaments going on around the world for the players to keep fresh with. We've got, for the ATP, we've got 250s in Atlanta. Can you pronounce, JP, for this next one for me? The one that starts with the K there. Just give that a pronunciation for me if you don't mind.
I got you. The ATP 250 at Kitzbühel.
That was perfect. I mean, I should not have doubted you.
Was that perfect?
I think, yeah, Kitzbühel.
Let's go.
I mean, I'm probably, I'm still saying it without that Austrian accent, but yeah, the ATP 250 in Kitzbühel, and then in Umag as well. Those are 2 clay tournaments, and then hardcourt in Atlanta, the official start of the U.S. hardcourt swing. And then you got the WTA 250s in Prague and Lazio. So good luck to the players playing there. I think that's all she wrote, JP.
That's all she wrote. Thank you to everybody that's still sticking around and listening to the show. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe. The push to 20K is officially on.
That's right. Smash it.
It's in striking distance. Smash it. Smash subscribe, like, comment, all the rest of the stuff. Shout out Betway. I think that's it, Steven. That's what?
Episode. I don't know what episode number that is.
That's the slice.
That's the slice, people. Thank you guys for being here. We will see you next time on the podcast. Over and out from JP and Steven.